we live?
We are live, dude. We are rolling. So we are season 2, episode 1, and I got a good one, a really good one. I wanted to increase my status, get better and bigger comics. I have 2 big names in the lineup already so far, so I'm happy about that.
Awesome.
And I just want you to know how hard it was to get this guy nailed down here. So, bite-worthy, as we say last season, is a term that I coined that nobody uses, unfortunately. That means it's worthy enough to want to steal, but we don't. It's worthy enough to want to take from, because biting material in the comedy world means you're stealing a joke, a punchline, stealing a mannerism, but a bite-worthy comedian is someone that you wish you had their style or joke or laughs or all those things. So, oh my God, no exception, buddy. We have Taylor Neely. Taylor Neely! Yay! Dude, I'm so stoked, man.
I thought we were just gonna bite each other.
No. That's
you should have comedians on that you just want to bite.
Only fans. There's a couple. I'd probably vampire style. Yeah. Tim, great neck.
Long neck.
Chicken neck.
He does have that joke about being
He does have a chicken neck. So I'm gonna get right into it, man. I don't normally ask this question because I want to be better than other interviewers. But where do you get the inspiration for your comedy? Because let me tell you, my brain hurts from trying to figure that out. Where the hell does it come from?
I don't know. It's always been in college, and I'm gonna try to say this without I'm not trying to sound like toot my own horn or anything. Like in college, there were times where I just can you swear?
Fuck shit, come, all that goes.
Where I was fucking around with my friends and stuff. And my friend was like, "Oh, how does your brain work or whatever?" I've just always liked weird stuff. I think that's why I liked improv. Did improv for 2 years because you can be weird and silly. And I've just always liked silly stuff, but I didn't really develop a sense of humor until a little bit, not really much maybe a little bit in high school. It was like budding, but in college, it really started to develop.
The weird came out.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of developed.
So college is for getting weird, man.
I don't know where it comes from. It's just like if I write something down, I don't sit down and write a lot. I'll think of something and I'll put in my notes, and that'll be like the legs for it. But I don't really have a system for coming up with jokes or anything. I just really like weird, silly stuff. Like if you
do, because let me tell you, I have my girlfriend actually. This is funny. We were at El Dorado one time, and she doesn't know who's a comic and who's not, except for you. She goes, "Oh, that guy's a comic." Like I know, I can tell. You had a joke about birds.
Yeah.
You had jokes about. I mean, you just pulled your pants down one night. Yeah. Like it's very random. Yeah. It's very silly.
I think there is kind of a
abstract.
I like the word cacophony, which I think is just insanity, but controlled insanity or whatever. There is I guess maybe a method to the madness per se of because you don't want to be, at least for me, I don't want to be just random for the sake of being random. I want it to make sense in the insanity. I want the idea to still someone to see in their head what I'm trying to portray.
Like being in the eye of a storm, this is a whirlwind of stuff going, but I can see there's a movement to it. There's a form, a circular nature to it.
Not just not being random for the sake, not oh, spaghetti, isn't spaghetti? Oh, what if there were worms in this? What if your spaghetti was worms? And it's just I don't want, that's fucking amateur shit. I need it to be
see, you say hack.
Yeah, it needs to you need to just. I want you to picture what I'm trying to say.
And I think when you tell a joke, you expound upon it in weird, silly directions.
Yeah, exactly.
Goofy.
Yeah, and it's kind of in the spirit of it's silly, but I think having confidence behind the silliness also.
You do exude confidence. You definitely exude that. That mustache says I'm not pussyfooting around.
I didn't really have the mustache until I played around with it in college.
Pretty good.
I didn't really commit to it until doing stand-up.
Really? If
I just like it.
If I tried to grow a mustache, I did try and grow. I did one time. I was like, oh, I need to just give up and buy a white van if that was the case. And that's how I was like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I haven't shaved this face in weeks.
Yeah.
So this is all God gave me.
This is 2 days.
Fuck you. Okay. So for those out there who don't know, you're a pretty handy guy. Like literally a handy guy. Yeah. So just give Taylor Neely's thoughts on the following hand things.
Okay.
Handlebar mustaches.
Well, there is a lot of confusion about the handlebar mustache because I had like this this goes down here like this. Yeah. What do you call that?
I thought it was a Fu Manchu.
No, that's when you're Chinese and it comes all the way down.
Oh, okay.
You have to be Chinese to have that.
Okay.
And actually, the Fu Manchu, I was reading up on it because people call it a Fu Manchu, and it's called a Fu Manchu because a character in a comic book, Dr. Fu Manchu, had it, and that's why it's called the Fu Manchu. And then someone in a movie, or at least the comic book thing might be the start of it, and then in a movie, Dr. Fu Manchu, he was an evil Chinese doctor, he had that, and that's why it's called the Fu Manchu. Okay. This is on Wikipedia.
So, about the handlebar mustache, though.
Yes, the handlebar mustache. What does a handlebar mustache to you look like? No.
Okay.
That's a horseshoe mustache.
Oh,
handlebar mustache comes out in twirls. Because you can grab on and shake them.
Okay, so are you for it, against it? Would you ever rock one?
Too much.
Too much. Okay,
gotcha. Some people do it. We do the twisty twirlies every now and again, but it's like I can't. It's too much for me.
Too much.
I decided this is the perfect length for me. Anybody else?
It's got a little
heft.
80s cop, to it. Yeah, that's good.
A lot of people say porn stars.
Yeah, so we got handlebar mustache, hand jobs.
Hand jobs. They're good in like middle school.
Okay, that makes sense.
A blowjob that is mostly hand job is better.
Okay, a handy blowjob.
Yes.
Handy job.
Handy job.
There you go. We just coined something. That'll probably catch on more than Bite-worthy will. The handy.
Welcome to Handy Blowjob with Ryan Schiller.
the handicap. How you feel about the handicap?
I golf, so I have a handicap. My handicap isn't very good.
Yeah, I figured you're not a scratch golfer yet, huh?
No. I'm good enough to shoot in the 90s usually, and
that's
I can
not
play.
Bad.
It's fine. It's enough to play and have fun and not get pissed off all the time.
That's nice. Nice middle of the road.
I have gotten pissed off at the golf course and yelled at someone. Yeah, last Sunday I did.
Playthrough situation.
Man, last Sunday this guy I was by myself and there was a 5-some in front of me on the back 9. There had been a 4-some in front of me, but they just played the front 9 again because it was real backed up. And I was playing I played 3 balls on this hole. I come up to them, and my car is putting up, it's a gas engine, so it's making noise. And on the guy's backswing, I pull up, and then he stops, he looks at me, does the what the fuck arms, and then he swings, and then everyone else swings, but then he goes up to his group and this guy's pissing me off, loud enough for me to hear. And I was like, I really didn't do anything wrong. But then I start pulling up to them, they're all looking at me, and this guy's upset, so I pull up to him, hey man, what the fuck's your problem? And then he was like, I forget what he said. I was like, what, you having a bad day or something? Like, what the fuck is your problem? Why are you being mean to me? And I just went in on him.
Why are you being mean to me?
And then eventually, they're like, you can just play through. I'm like, I don't want to play through, we're on the next hole. And then I just left because I was done. But this guy just I went in on him too hard, but he was also just being a dick for no reason.
Those people happen in life. Those people do happen.
He just cowered down. I won this. I was a dick, but I did win this argument.
You won, yeah. Well, that's a TKO verbally right there. That's awesome. So handguns.
I have one.
Of course. It's Atlanta. You got to. Okay.
2 guns.
What about the show Handmaid's Tale?
Fucking. What is this? Pioneer medieval times? I've never seen it. I don't care.
Me neither. Who cares?
It could go away. It wouldn't affect me.
Yeah, same. Handouts.
Sometimes they're necessary. Like if they're in a bad situation, people take advantage of them for sure. The COVID is a prime example. Businesses got PPP loans that did not need them. People opened fake businesses and got them, but also kind of respect the taking advantage of, because COVID really highlighted how bad our government is, especially now, at just being the government. They are so bad.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I voted in the last election and the one before that, but now I don't think I'll vote going forward. Just because it's like,
let's see that, and that's,
I might, but it's just like, I don't.
That is the worst thing to happen. That sucks.
People
just disinterest.
Yeah.
Like indifference is the worst.
But it's not my fault because I followed it, and then now it's just, it makes everyone angry.
It sure does. That's why we don't get political here on Bite Worthy.
Yeah, and I'm not saying one thing or the other. I'm just saying I don't like everything I see. It sucks.
I have a joke about, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go and write out political ambiguity.
Yeah.
And because I saw a sticker on a car that said solar power. Yeah. And I was like, well, what is he for it? Does he hate it? What is going on? I was like, you know what? I can play with that. I'll have a Hillary sticker next to a Trump sticker.
Yeah.
Like, who's this? What's this guy doing? Like, I drive a Ford truck, but if I have a sticker that says, like, my other car is a Subaru, like, who does he vote for? You know?
Yeah.
So I like the idea of
I don't even care anymore.
Who cares?
About politics.
Who cares? So Hands. The first bit I ever heard of yours, and you were one of the first, like, dozen people that I still see in comedy, that I first saw in comedy, just researching and seeing local comics. The first bit of yours I ever heard was clap your hands.
Yeah.
It's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
It's funny. And I'm going to ask you just some questions in clap your hand format.
Yeah.
So,
have you had Carter Deems on?
I have not.
He helped me write that.
That checks out.
He gave me the inspiration for what it became.
That tracks. So we're gonna go. If you're racist and you know it, clap your hands. That was a test.
Okay.
Good job. Cool. You passed. If you measure twice and cut once because you're a handyman, it's the best thing to do and you know it, clap your hands. Yeah. All right. If you can relate to this story by if you've ever dated a girl and then you ask her where she wants to go to eat and then you say, and she says anywhere, and then you recommend a taco place, and she goes, I'm not feeling tacos, and then you recommend another place, and she goes, I'm not feeling that either, and then you ask her, like, well, where do you want to go eat? And then she says, let's go to the seafood place that's 2 exits down, and then you say, well, why didn't you just say that in the first place? And then she says, why are you saying that? You're being mean, and you know it, clap your hands.
Yeah. I can't relate to it.
Okay. If you hate Putin and you know it, clap your hands.
I kind of like it.
You have clap. It's 2 claps. All right. So if you really believe Jason Statham knows how to fight and you know it, clap your hands.
Oh, yeah.
So all right. I had to test. Okay. So clap your hand format.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Format.
Thank you.
All right. Podcast is over.
That's it. So coincidentally, I feel we're at. I didn't tell you where we're at. We're at Grindhouse Burgers today. This place is amazing. We had burgers with onion rings on them. We had burgers. You had jalapenos on them,
avocado,
pepper jack,
black bean spread,
avocado,
pico de gallo.
Pico de gallo.
Like pico de gallo.
We had crispy Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
Together. I don't know. It was not together with the same place,
but we married couple thing.
Yeah, but it was really good place. So speaking of like the perfect food, and someone asked me like, hey, if you were stranded on a deserted island, and then one food regenerated every day for you to eat, so to stay for you to stay alive. I think the burger is the perfect meal because there's meat, there's bread, and there's a lot of foods that have this same structure. But bread, meat, lettuce, onions, tomatoes. I mean, you could have her without cheese or whatever, but if you just have that,
you got all the food.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's a perfect food.
Cereal?
What food would that be for you?
Well, that's a good one, but I can't do what you did. Probably maybe just steak. If
Man after my own heart.
I've heard some okay things about the carnivore diet, and I guess you could survive on it.
And then you just turn into Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, but
you didn't turn Canadian.
Canadian, wear some suits and bow ties.
All
get
denim.
in trouble for not agreeing with trans politics.
Drink Labatt.
Labatt.
So that's steak would be like the Neely choice for Neely. The Neely.
I love a steak. I can cook steak pretty good.
Oh, same, man.
Cast iron skillet. That's all I need.
My friend dogs the cast iron. I'm like, it's the best. It's one of the best. I've had my cast iron for 5 years now.
I've had mine for a few.
It's got a nice.
It's useful.
It's a nice little coating on there.
Mine's mainly used for steak, but.
Same. I do it for steak, and then there's this one dish that I make. It's like a deconstructed pot pie.
Yeah.
So we do it all the chicken, the stock, make everything, and then we put just biscuits on top.
Okay.
And we put in there.
Nice.
That's a really good one. So steak and then chicken pot pie biscuit thing.
Yeah.
So I don't usually ask simple questions, but we have to have some filler here.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first joke you wrote?
Would have been in college. I did stand-up in college for majority of my freshman year, and then I went to acting school, so I didn't have time much later.
Okay.
But first joke I ever wrote, what comes to mind is airstrikes, but it's bear strikes. And instead they're just dropping bears on people. And that's the first one, that was the first successful joke I wrote. And I don't remember any.
It was off and running since then.
It's been often.
Bear strikes. That's a good one. I'll tell you the first joke. I don't tell the first joke that I wrote because, and it's not. I walk this line of like rebellion, but following comedy rules, staying in my lane as a white guy, but saying "fuck you," I can say whatever I want. And it's. I started thinking about creating a roller rink for Jews.
Okay.
Called Cheapskates.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not that offensive,
No, it's harmless.
but my comedy coach guy said, I wrote a joke. He goes, okay, let's hear it. I said, I told him the joke, and he goes, okay, it's pretty funny. Let me ask you a question. Are you Jewish? I said, no. He goes, well, you can't say it. It's like, fuck. And then I was confirmed by my Jewish friends. I'm like, well, fuck.
It's still funny.
It's funny, thank you, but I don't tell that joke.
I think light racism in jokes can be funny. Just how you approach it.
It's very. I literally say the word chink in one, but it's referring to chink in the armor, and I have a joke. It's
your
premise.
Own Shane Gillis moment.
Somewhat. Although I never had a chance on SNL, so I'm too short. Camera's like, hey, no. I mean, can you mention me on Weekend Update? No. No, you can't.
We'll give you a high chair.
High chair. I just pretend to be a baby. No. I don't have too much like racial humor, but that was the first joke that I wrote, just because I work with a lot of Jewish people, and they're always cracking jokes, and it's kind of where that came from. Is there a joke that you tell that doesn't really get a lot of laughs that you love, that you're just like, I'm keeping this. I'm gonna die on this hill?
Most of them.
Most of them.
All of them.
All of my material. What one comes to mind?
What am I thinking right now? Don't fall over.
Please don't.
Let me see. It's got to be something I'm doing recently. Something about a wolf fight, same character. I don't know. I go through so many different. Here's one I just told because I said something to Tamar Rubin, great Atlanta comedian. We were at Star Bar one night, and then he's like, I was telling her, I want you to get sloppy, slutty drunk tonight. But then I turned it into like, my friend, I was there with my friend at the bar the other night, and he comes up to me and says, hey Taylor, I want you to get so sloppy, slutty drunk that you take a big old sloppy shit, you stupid slut. And it's been getting some laughs, but it's just like, it is. My worm joke is, it hit last night pretty good. It's long. It's like 3 minutes.
You have a fair amount of like 2-3 minute plus bits.
Yeah. That, the bathroom joke. It depends. It really depends. It depends on the crowd. It really depends. When I talk about having used to smoke crack, it can do great or it cannot.
Yeah. Why is it? Why is it that when I smoke crack?
Some people get. I think some people get tight joke about it.
I mean, do you think it's because like if they don't know if you're like kidding or not?
Younger people.
So the worm joke hit last night.
Yeah, it went really well. I've been working on it though. It's better now that I've been working on it.
And then young people, like you said, young people, they pull back from that joke?
No, the older crowds, like brewery older white brewery crowds tend to not care. It crushed at 10 ATL, which is usually a black room, and I did very good there. It depends.
I'm gonna omit joke there. I'm gonna omit. Yeah. Okay.
It really depends on the audience, but it's even if, for me at least, if I'm having fun, usually I think people can see you're having fun.
You do have fun. Like I like when comics not laugh at their own jokes because they think that they're funny. They laugh at their own jokes when the crowd reacts. Like I love when that happens.
I think why I go through so much material and like write new stuff is because I really like surprising myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
A new joke that really hits is probably the best.
Oh.
But it's like you're discovering it together with the audience.
My jokes, I'll tell you, my jokes usually come from just like going up. And I wrote a joke about bombing because I bombed so hard, trying to tell a joke about how I'm too short for the KKK, and like the best execution of it still didn't do that great. So if I worked it and it still only gets here, because let me tell you something, I ride the wave of B and B minus, baby. That's where I live. Like if you want just slightly above mediocre comedy, I am your guy. And so I really like, even if I don't think a joke is that good, it's got to be bad. And it doesn't really get laughs, because the good thing about comedy is if it's funny because people laugh or they don't. That's it. And I bombed so hard one night, like I heard people like clicking on their phones, like, oh, this is bad. And so but it led to a joke. I'm like, oh, this is what bombing feels like. And I tell that joke now, and it gets laughs usually. So I'm really happy with that.
I think earlier on, bombing feels a lot worse. And I'm at the point where at Noni's the other night.
Never been there.
It's great. Tamar runs it now, so. I wasn't getting much laughs at all. But I was doing my jokes with confidence, and it was going well enough in my eyes. Or like the jokes, I was doing how I always do them, and the audience just wasn't. I was the first comic, so maybe it was that, but who knows?
The old bullet spot.
But after, it's fun to be like, all right, well, I'm glad you guys kept it consistent and just didn't laugh throughout the whole thing, and then that got a laugh. So.
At least you get a save. Like that's good. Like I don't know what happened one time. There was a bomb that I told 2 jokes and not a laugh, nothing. And then I told one joke that I don't think is that funny. And then 10 people, it was about 10 or 12 people, sounded like 30. I was like, what the fuck, what? How does this, there's no rhyme or reason. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons, apart from being just objectively funny, that you do so well, because Taylor Neely doesn't really you don't fit in a box. You really don't. And it's really hard, and I'll gush on you for a second here, man. You don't fit in a box because nobody sounds like you, and you don't sound like anybody. Normally,
Day a little bit. Some people say I sound like Charlie Day.
I can hear it, but it's spots. But your comedy doesn't sound like someone else's comedy. You have possibly kind of this like Steve Martin a little bit, this just complete wackiness. But I can't pinpoint you. Like Halsey is a Nick Offerman and Nate Bargatze combo. I can, Liz is kind of like a Fran Drescher, like kind of mixed with a older comic.
Gilbert Godfrey.
No, female comic just passed away, died. Joan Rivers. She's kind of like a Joan Rivers. Like she's offensive.
Just passed away a couple years ago.
Has it been that long?
It's been a minute. Isn't that crazy?
COVID.
You're next.
I'm next. Oh, well, I won't die as funny, that's for sure. The oldest woman that I'll probably still sleep with is Martha Stewart. Just putting that out there.
Like in your,
like now.
with the magazine? Sleep with her?
Well, both. I mean, real. I don't know why I
that
thought
you
of
would still sleep with. Oh, okay. I thought you said that you still
would. I still sleep with Martha Stewart. I opened the article to like, you know, some Indian corn decoration for fall tablescape, and I'm like, oh, that's how I get Martha Stewart living. No, she's the one. I'd probably still given it to Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All plastic and everything.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
So good. But anyway, you don't have someone that I can narrow you down to, so that's rare in comedy.
Few people have said Rory Scovel.
I kind of get it, but still, you're still left of center to that, man. So, kudos for you. Let me ask you: do you have any questions for me? I'm trying to keep this exciting, stimulating.
Who's your favorite comic?
Fuck, man.
Right now.
Right now. God, I'm gonna. What do they call it in the rap game? Dick riding. I'm gonna get accused of dick riding right now, but Chance Willie.
Oh yeah, I saw him open for Dusty Sled.
Boy, let me tell you that he has a Sonic joke that I spit out laughing.
Yeah,
laugh so
hard. When he laughs, he looks like Ray Liotta a little bit in his mouth. Ray Liotta, when he would laugh, his like mouth would kind of square off at the end, and he had dimples.
Yeah, I can see that.
Chance Willie laughs like Ray Liotta.
Or put that on, etch that in stone. It's true. But yeah, he's probably one of my favorite comics because he's offensive, but he's not like overtly like racist, and he just really walks that line perfectly, like right there. Chance, I saw Segura not long ago.
He's great.
Segura's a killer. I rewatched Ray Romano's special not long ago.
My friend said that's really good. I haven't had a chance to watch it.
Ray's good, man. I saw him in Spade in Vegas, and it was a good show. Yeah, I got to meet him. I got to meet Ray Romano.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was walking around on the casino floor. I just lost $80 at the roulette table when I went to blackjack, and I lost my ass that night. But I ended up meeting Ray Romano, so it was worth it. $80 meet and greet. It's cool. Wow. And I didn't have my autograph pen on me the one night. I have this blue pen, and these are all comics autographs. Like, these are all comedians autographs right here. There's Big J Okerson. He wrote a dick.
Nice.
Eleanor Kerrigan wrote "What a Faggot" on her autograph. That was cool. It's real nice. Sean Patton.
Yeah.
He was my first, so.
Saw him at the Punchline.
He's crazy good. I saw him. He's actually I'm gonna get him on here.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He's my favorite follow. He's my favorite follow.
That's cool.
But apart from that, I think that's it. We had a good. I'm getting a little nappy from that burger. It kind of hit me hard.
Yeah.
Kind of hit me hard, and we're gonna wrap up episode 1 of season 2 already. You're my 21st episode, man.
But number 1 in his heart.
Number 1 in my heart. You were a good get. Let me tell you, there were like 4 or 5 people originally that I wanted to even do this for. It's you, Christian, Liz, Alex, Libby, who I've yet to get, and then there's a few more. But you were, yeah, man. You really, and you always come up in conversation about who's funny in Atlanta. So
that's crazy. That's so crazy to hear, because it's like.
Why?
You've
been doing comedy for a long time, and you work hard at it.
Yeah.
You're always there. Every mic that I go to, which I don't go to as many as everybody else because I live in Cumming, and that's a long way to travel. So anytime you see me, I have put 55 minutes of drive time between it. So.
Well, it's just weird. I was telling this to Shelly Grunberg recently because I'm in. I told you I'm in like recovery, sober stuff, and because I used to be such a piece of shit. I was explaining this to shit like in college and high school and growing up. I was just lying and stealing shit. I don't do that anymore. But coming from that and coming to where I am now and being sober and stuff and hearing Shelly we were at McDonald's and I bought her, we got McNuggets. It took 30 minutes because the fast food industry is falling apart because of COVID. But Shelly, because I bought her food, she's like, famously kind Taylor Neely. Like, that's so. And I was explaining that's so crazy to hear, going from like being a piece of shit to where I am now.
Yeah.
It's like I can't. It's hard for me to picture sometimes me as someone who's kind and nice and like funny, and it just like my life is so. If I wasn't sober, my life would be I couldn't do comedy. I couldn't do anything. When I've relapsed and stuff, comedy just goes away completely. It takes away everything.
Wow.
It's just like, it's so, like, my life is very good right now. And it's like last week I was texting Tamar about like, I was so
you, man.
like filled with gratitude and just like I cry a lot, but from like happy things. And it's just like, I couldn't, I don't know. It's just like, I'm having such an experience in life right now that is, I never could have expected. And life is going very good. It's just like, I feel so lucky to be doing what I'm doing. And it's like,
well, good for you, man. That's a nice, heartwarming, not that it needs to be any warmer, but we made it, but it's a heartwarming thing. And you should definitely take some pride and some just gusto in you for doing so.
There was Ty. Do you know who Ty Dixon is?
I haven't met, no.
He's not around, and I don't see him that much, but he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
But I did my crack, because I used to smoke crack, and I did these jokes at 10, and it went really well, and afterwards, like, hey man, it's good to hear you're off that shit, because I can see it really helps your comedy, whatever else, and I just couldn't, not to get too deep or whatever, but I couldn't do what I'm doing if I wasn't sober. So.
Well, 13 years here, so I flip you, me, and Liz. We're the sober wrecking crew, man, and we're no fun at parties, but we are fun at parties because we're funny. Like, we'll still take our pants off, which gains more respect because, like, oh, you don't have an excuse of being drunk. You're just doing it, you know. And that's I feel that, and the same way. I can say that I've come a long way in my life from living in a car to being a homeowner, and then I've stolen for Christmas gifts and different things. I've had to, and now I buy everything I need. So it's a wonderful thing to be able to do. And I can't say comedy saved my life, but my grandpa, different things helped save my life. But it's good, man. Take fucking credit.
To answer your first question, I think where a lot of my inspiration can come is I used to do so many drugs.
Oh,
and
God.
used to smoke crack, which crack is insane.
I bet.
Doing that, like the shame and shit that comes with that, nothing will ever live up to the insanity of that.
I bet.
So like any crazy idea, it's just like, I just think it's like, maybe subconsciously, it's like, maybe I don't have a filter. It's maybe drugs, maybe just like how I am, but it's like doing all that. Comedy will never be as insane as that, but comedy's better than that. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's just like, maybe that plays a part of it, having done a lot of drugs.
You know what? We pull from reality, man, when we write jokes, and I pull from, well, I don't have crack passed. I have 6 dogs, and it's not as.
But even if you drank too much, booze can get really dark.
I have done that. Yeah. There was a joke that I wrote that I quit drinking because I used to black out, fight police, and I would sleep with women who looked like DJ Khaled. So I never touched another one. Yeah. But it's true. I once actually challenged a cop, an Atlanta PD officer, to a boxing match, and they were like, "We got to go," and that's when I was like, "Oh, you know what? We're gonna cut this out. We're gonna not do that because I can't box."
Yeah, and I don't know why for people like you, like me, why drinking and drugs are so fundamentally different than it is for like regular people that can drink. But there's something inside of me that it's different. It does not work for me the way it works for other people, and my track record has proven that. But what's crazy is like what I've learned going to recovery meetings is that the crazy thing, even though like my life is going great, my brain will still try to convince me that a drink is a good idea.
Still.
And it's not. And that's why I go to meetings and stuff and have a sponsor, because it just...
Well, good for you, man. Well, if you ever want a nice sober time, come on to the lake. That's where I live. I live on Lake Lanier, so you want to go fishing, fucking build something, shoot guns, eat steak, and just be Americans. We'll be all about it. Well, we don't have anything else. We're going to get to it, man. Taylor Neely, everybody. Last thing we're going to do, plug your dates, man. What do you got going on?
Let's see. I have a little posterino of it. We've got...
I mean, you can see him pretty much everywhere.
Hollywood Bowl.
the first Crosby, Steele, and Nash impersonator to sell out the bowl.
Tonight, church, Athens, and then trying to make it back for a late show at Dynamic El Dorado, Kenny Stimpian show, Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes is going to be a good show.
Open Toad in Athens, the 21st. Eventide, 24th, Eventide Brewing, Underwear Comedy Party, and then back to Athens, 24th and the 26th, doing fair. They have like a festival, so that's it for this month.
Very
Some stuff in
nice.
July, but you know.
That's okay. You can plug it in July. I will be actually hosting Legends Distillery, Shelley Grunberg, for Luke Benkley, Mac Mitchell, and Mitchell Mack, and
Mac Mitchell.
Sorry, Mac Mitchell.
What's up, Mac Mitchell?
Mitchell Mack, yeah, and then Angela Kimmel is headlining. So it's my first hosting, and then I'll be hosting the 29th, July 29th, at Canopy and Roots. Cool. This month I will be at Sugar Hill, the American Legion, and then August 4th I will be in Columbus. I will be opening for Eric Hunter, doing 25, my man.
Wow.
Yeah. That's all my material.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's my half hour. And then August 6th, I will be at the Comedy Zone on the Block in Fort Walton Beach. So, Fort Walton, folks. Yeah.
Week of July 4th, I'll be in Columbus, Ohio. Not for comedy, but I'll be golfing and celebrating the 4th of July and at the lake.
Like a real American.
Yeah.
Fuck the British.
I think they should have won.
They coulda.
I wish they would have won.
They definitely coulda.
I want to speak British and drive.
How do you lose against like people who like 3% are come on. Anyway. God, losers.
Yeah.
But we deserve it. Yeah. That's it, everybody. We're gonna get out of here. Love you, bye.
Bye.